This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. George Camel, Ramsey personality, host of the Fine Print podcast, is my co-host today as we take your calls about your relationships, your money, your work, your career, your life. It all happens right here on The Ramsey Show. It's a free call, and some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Marcy is in Seattle, Washington. Hey, Marcy, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I have a question about long-term care insurance. My husband and I purchased policies a few months ago to avoid a state-run program that we thought was going to be implemented as of January 1st. That has since been delayed till at least April of this year, but it's looking like it's going to be pushed out even further, like till July of 2023. So we're wondering if we should keep the policies that we have. They are not the best long-term care insurance policy that we probably could have gotten.
Well, you just wanted something cheap to keep your communist government from taxing you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
The state of Washington has lost its freaking mind. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a ridiculous act, and there's so many flaws in it. I think that's why there's all these bills being proposed now to try and delay it and fix some of the flaws.
I wish somebody put it in front of the Supreme Court and just stomp on it. But
right,
in the meantime, we real people out here have to deal with this crap. So I wouldn't drop it if you're going to turn around and buy it again in April. But if you don't have to buy it until June of 23, then yes, I would drop it. So I guess I'm probably tapping the brakes and just see what happens. If they kick it in April, you got to turn around and buy it again, right?
Yes, to avoid it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of trouble, and so I'd probably just sit on it for a month or two here, and then if they do kick the can on down the road to June, I'd drop it.
How old are you two?
Okay. I'm 49 and my husband's 54.
But they're required by state law to carry it now. If they don't, they get a tax.
Correct.
Regardless of age.
What are you paying every month? Have you kind of shopped this around to at least make sure that you're getting a good deal?
Yeah, initially we didn't because there was sort of a frenzy of people trying to get policies in place. So we just grabbed whatever we could. But we're paying for combined, my husband and I, about $200 a month for our policy. The state tax would be about half of that. But it's garbage coverage.
Yeah.
And then I did actually a couple of weeks ago speak to one of your ELPs that specializes in long-term care insurance policies, and he said that for about the same prices that we're paying right now for a universal life policy with a long-term care rider, he could get us a policy.
I'm sorry, you said one of my ELPs told you that?
No.
Oh, I didn't think so.
He could offer us a better policy, so one that fits within your guidelines and everything.
It's not
the one that
a universal life policy, right?
But that would be a similar cost, basically equivalent to what we're paying right now for.
Okay. Well, if you would rather change anyway, then you could drop this, wait till April, figure it out, or wait till the following June and figure it out, and go to the one you're changing to. If you're going to change anyway, that changes the answer. So it sounds like you bought the universal life one, and you do need to drop that. So go ahead and drop it now. And then in April, if you have to rebuy to avoid the tax, you can do that again.
How many states require that?
One.
Oh.
One.
Okay, she lucked out by living in Washington.
So far. Well, I mean, they're just complete bonkers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you pass a law that if you don't carry long-term care insurance, you have to pay a tax the equivalent of the cost of long-term care insurance because the state is going to have to pay part of Medicaid if you go into the nursing home. And it's just straight up socialism. I mean, it's just classic. But this is the reason people are running out of some of these states, is their taxation and their social policies are both just people are leaving literally by the truckloads. So
they're leaving the coast.
Yeah, it's
they're coming to Tennessee.
Well, yeah. The latest one I saw was, please don't be a missionary, just be a refugee.
That's good.
Meaning, don't bring your stupid vote with you if you come. So I've tried to get the Tennessee state legislature to pass a law that if you move here from California, you can't vote for 2 years.
Ooh.
Or until you've been through indoctrination on what actually running an economy looks like. But they haven't picked me up on that yet.
Haven't responded to your email.
Yeah, it's not answered me on that one. So can you imagine why?
I think it went to spam.
Yeah, it went to that. I'm in that other file.
I have a special folder for you.
A special folder for Dave. That's it. That's so. Sharon is in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Sharon. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how are y'all today?
Great. What's up?
Nothing much. I just had a quick question for you. I've heard your name sprinkled out throughout my life, but about a month ago, I really started listening, and I just recently purchased your Baby Step Millionaires book. I'm on chapter 5, I believe.
Thank you.
But I was very blessed in the way that I was brought up, and I don't really I have my mortgage, and that's it.
Good.
But I also realized in doing my budget last night that I tend to micromanage my money, and I don't have any money left over to have fun with, and that tends to get me into trouble.
Because then you'll go have fun, and it wasn't budgeted.
Right. Yeah. And made a couple of stupid decisions in my life. And so anyway, so I technically should be in baby steps 4, 5, and 6, but I haven't done like 1, 2, or 3.
Well,
so
you don't have to. You don't have to. If you have no debt and you have your emergency fund in place, then you're in 4, 5, and 6. You don't have to start at 1.
Okay. Well, I was wondering if you can tell me, like, Is there another book I should be reading? Should I be talking to like a financial person?
I mean, I'd love to go ahead and send you a copy of the Total Money Makeover. That's going to be a detailed plan to walk you through all of these baby steps, the ins and outs. But right now in 4 through 6, you're focused on paying off the house and make sure you're budgeting for some fun. You know, we say there's 3 things you can do with money: give, save, spend. So give some, save some for those future goals that you have, invest 15% of your income, and beyond that, you're saving for college, you're paying off the house, and enjoying life. So start budgeting for that.
That's exactly what I would do. I'm trying to think what to add to that. There's not anything to add.
Wow,
to that.
I nailed it. First try.
Mic drop.
It's a good day. It's all downhill from here.
Mic drop. Moon's full. This is the Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Welcome to the Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. We just got word this morning that the book Baby Steps Millionaires is the #1 book in the nation. Thank you. Thank you, guys, all of you.
That's
pretty
big.
amazing.
It hit a bunch of categories, didn't it? #1 overall, #1 nonfiction, #1 business. I mean,
it's slayed. And the reason it's slayed is two things. One is the number of people that listen to the show and that are interacting with us on different things nationally. Thank you, guys, for trusting us and for purchasing it. And the promise that I made with the book is true. And it will do that for you if you'll follow it. How ordinary people built extraordinary wealth, and how you can too. And our team. I mean, you don't do a #1 anything in this world without a Herculean effort with a whole lot of very, very dedicated people. I used to be so dumb. I thought if you just wrote a really good book that mattered, that all of a sudden it would just go and it would work. No, you have to actually go do the marketing. You have to actually do the distribution. You have to handle all the publicity. I've done so many interviews in the past 3 weeks. I'm exhausted. It's wonderful. I've had a good time being back with a lot of the shows that I hadn't been on in a long time. And because this is the first book I've done, major trade book in 8 years. And so, but thank you guys on our team, all the work you've done on this show and all the other shows and things we do around here, the marketing team, the publicity team, the publishing team, and all of you guys that bought it. Thank you. We appreciate the trust. We're honored by that. We work real hard to be worthy of that trust. And coming out of the chute, it's actually, I've had a bunch of #1s, but this one kind of destroyed. It's at a different level.
Wow.
So it's really
still
hot.
got it, Dave. That's good
really
news.
Hot. Well, I don't know if I've got it, but a lot of you wanted to know this message, and that's what matters. So we're here to help you. It's what we do, and it's our opportunity to serve, and we really, really appreciate it. 2022 is a fresh start. This is your wake-up call. All of our books, or a lot of our bestsellers, rather, are not all of them, but most of them are on sale for $10 at RamseySolutions.com right now, including the cash envelope systems are there for $10. There's all kinds of specials going on, 50 to 70% off right now. It's New Year's, and a lot of people need the tools in their hands to move on and do that next thing, and that next step. And that's what we're all about around here, showing you a step-by-step plan to get a new job from paycheck to purpose with Ken Coleman, to become a millionaire following the baby steps, to get out of debt following the debt snowball. Whatever it is we're helping you with, we want to help you do all of that. You listen to George's podcast that we did here on the Ramsey Network called The Fine Print. It's all about showing you ways that you're getting tripped up so that you can not get tripped up and get to the life that you're supposed to have, that God has for you. So RamseySolutions.com/store. Check out the store right now. There's all kinds of things going on there, including the book Baby Steps Millionaires, of course, for sale there. And it is for sale most everywhere. We've had reorders now from all the major bookstores and all that are carrying it, which means it is off of their shelves, and they've turned around and done the second order. And that's always a good sign from the marketing business perspective, but it also means that you guys are embracing this idea that you can win today. And that's what we do. We sell hope here. We want to make you believe that you can do it and show you how to do it, and then and walk with you while you do it. And that's what this is all about. So it's good times. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Rachel is with us in L.A. Hi, Rachel. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Good. Okay, so long story short, I just moved in with my best friend. We are now roommates, and I know that she's struggled financially within the last couple years. Her habits aren't really that good. She just came to me yesterday, and she was considering filing bankruptcy. She's just, way in over her head on payments and getting collection calls, and I really don't want her to go down that route. I bought her the Total Money Makeover book several years ago. She never read it, and I don't want to be like, she knows that I've gotten out of debt using your steps in the past. I'm not fully out of debt, but I'm still working on it. And I know she knows that there's help out there, but I don't know how to tell her, I don't want her to go that route without overstepping boundaries.
Well, she brought it up.
Want her to. True, but
Why did she bring it up if she didn't want your input?
Well, it's not the first time that she's mentioned it to me, but this is the first time, like, with financial problems, but this is the first, like, bankruptcy, like, option that she's stated. And I don't really know where to go from here. I mean, I've bought her the book before, and
do you care about this more than she does?
I think so, yeah.
You can't help her then. And bankruptcy is not going to help her either, because she's going to get right back in the same stupid mess again.
Yeah, her habits are going to stay the same.
Exactly. So, I mean, when I've got a friend that's doing stuff like that, I just ask them, do you want help? If you want help, I can show you how, that you don't have to file, and show you what to do, and I'm not going to shame you, I'm not going to beat you up. I'll walk with you, but I'm also going to kick your little butt while we're doing this stuff.
Right.
Because you're my friend and I love you, and I'm not going to participate in your crazy and call that friendship. That's enabling.
Right.
So, I mean, this is the conversation you have if you're my friend. I'm going to ask permission to bust you.
Right.
And if you give me that permission, game on. If you don't, I'm going to back up and watch the car wreck.
Right.
Because I can't do any good. I can't help you then.
Yeah, if you push back unsolicited, it's going to backfire and it's going to hurt the relationship. She's got to want the help. And, I mean, it sounds like she's kind of backed against the wall here. And so you can encourage her, you can give her some resources, but you can't, you can bring the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And so
it would sound something like this with me, okay? Look, I've been there, because you have. I've been scared, confused, and beat up and beat down. And it's kind of the way you look to me right now. And I'm hurting for you, and I want to help if you want me to help. If you want me to show you some things, if you want me to walk with you in this, I can help you. Or if you want me to stand back and just watch you drive the car in the ditch, I can do that too. I'll be whatever kind of friend, whatever level of friend you want me to be. But if I understand you're scared, and if you want some help, I can show you some things I think that I learned when I was just like you. And so, you're using your weakness as a thing and talking about yourself rather than wagging your finger in her face, because you don't want to get up there and go, you're stupid, you're an idiot, don't do this. That's not helpful. But the bottom line is you do need to ask in a very firm way that you have permission to speak into this. And then it's not talking about all her old habits. It's just talking about where we are right now. We can't fix the old things. All we can figure out is there. So, number one, if you file bankruptcy, student loans aren't bankruptable. IRS is not bankruptable. Anything that has a lien against it, if you want to keep it, is not bankruptable. Her car, if she has debt on it, you don't get to keep it in bankruptcy unless you re-sign for the debt. In which case, filing for bankruptcy on a car note would be stupid if you turn around and keep it. Right?
Right.
And so a lot of people, by the time they take all the things off the table that bankruptcy doesn't cover, really aren't filing bankruptcy on very much. They're just filing bankruptcy because they're scared, confused, and caught in the middle of a tornado.
And another resource, Rachel, I have for you, on the fine print, we did a whole episode on is bankruptcy a quick fix for struggling Americans? I interviewed Dave on there about his bankruptcy story. I talked to a bankruptcy attorney. We talked to people who are on the verge of bankruptcy. And so that might be an easy, 30-minute listen you can do with her, or let her listen on her own, that can give her some hope. That was the goal with that episode, to help people understand what bankruptcy is, what it isn't, and give them hope that there's a way out. And so check that out.
That's the best answer. Best answer on here. It's completely free and it only takes 30 minutes. You just go download that right now. Fine print, podcast, pull up the bankruptcy lesson, hand her the phone, tell her to listen to it. And then say, if you need some help, I'll walk with you. And if you want to get her in touch with one of the coaches that we've trained, a Ramsey trained coach, a Ramsey preferred coach, we can walk through it. She's probably not bankrupt. She's probably just so scared and confused and doesn't see a way out. And you can walk your way out of anything almost in these situations. We've done it with tens of thousands of people. So try to get her to understand what's going on here and just love her well. Gently, kindly, no shaming, but telling the truth. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Mike and Lindsay are with us. Hey, guys, welcome.
Hey, Dave.
Hi.
Where you guys live?
Hudson, Illinois.
All right, and here to do a debt-free scream.
Yes, sir.
How much have you paid off?
$95,264.
Cool. How long did that take?
About 48 months.
Good. And your range of income during that time?
Oh, we started at $97,000 and we ended at $124,000.
Cool. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm in human resources.
Mm-hmm.
And I drive a truck for an environmental waste company.
Very cool. Good. Okay. Great T-shirt. Sally Mae has been evicted. And the other one, rich people really are scared of leaves. I like it.
Yes, sir.
So is that a side gig, or is that just a joke?
No, that's a side gig I picked up, mowing yards and raking leaves. And that's kind of when our story got started was we were taking financial peace, and I went to the store, and
it was like a week before, right?
Yeah.
A week before the class.
Yep, we had been to our first class, and we're going to go to the second one, and I called her, and I said, I just bought a leaf blower. And she said, you what? We're on a budget. I said, well, I'm going to, blow leaves, and I'm going to make some extra money, help us speed this thing up.
All right.
We went to class a couple days later,
Yeah.
and you said, buy yourself a leaf blower. Rich people are scared of leaves. And
We looked
sure enough,
at
they are.
each other in the class and our jaws dropped. I'm like,
That's amazing.
yeah.
That is so fun. I love it. I love it. Hey, way to go, you guys. Okay, so what prompted you to get started on all this Ramsey stuff?
So we've been married for just over 10 years now, and on our wedding, someone gave us the book. Well, we chucked it to the side and,
Use it as a coaster.
It's a great coaster.
Yeah, and
Get your 2 drinks on there.
exactly.
Nice.
So never really did anything with it, in and out, like listen to the show here and there. And then one day we were on vacation and we were broke. We didn't have any money to buy food to get home, gas to get home or food.
Yeah.
And just
I think
kind
we were
of
The
trying
broke vacation.
Yeah.
I've been on those. Yeah.
we got back and just dug it back out. And we said, it's time. You can't be Dave-ish. I mean, it's all or nothing.
Yeah. We tried using the credit card to book the hotel, and they said you reached your max. And so we were like vigorously trying to call and say, can you bump our limit? We need, we're in a different town. We're trying to stay the night. And, at that point, they're like, yeah, you can, we'll give you more money. And then we were able to stay. But that was our point where we were like, we're done. We can't do it.
Yeah, when you're begging someone else to not be homeless.
Yeah,
It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yep.
So what kind of debt was the $95,000?
You name it.
Yeah, student loans. I had 9 store credit cards in addition to like 2 or 3 different Chase cards. Cars, personal loans. We had a funeral payment, mower. We put a personal loan, I think, on the mower.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, you did have everything. You had
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
Y'all were so normal.
We
it was
were so
unbelievable.
normal.
Yep.
So did you just think I'm really good at managing these 12 credit cards?
You're
Yes,
exactly right.
Crushing this.
I knew exactly when Victoria's Secret was going to have their sale and their 30% off to use the card and all that. Yeah, I was one of those people at the store. So
You had mastered being broke.
yeah,
Wow.
I knew she was serious when she cut those all up.
yeah.
Uh-oh. That's game
They
Which
on.
let-
one was the hardest? I'm just curious. Which one was like sentimental?
Oh man.
There's always one.
Shoot, I'm trying to think because there was 9 of them.
A lot of stores you like to shop at.
Yeah. Probably Victoria's Secret. I think they throw in not the discount. They do like $10 off or $20. And obviously with money, it seems like, I can get more money, a discount off more money than
You felt like you were
discount.
making money off the scheme.
Yeah.
And then you realized, nope, we're actually broke.
I was walking out of the store like, I took their money. I got all the sales.
Wow.
So then you decide after coming home and reading the book to go to Financial Peace University.
Yep, best thing we did.
And what did you just had it at your church or just a local area? Or
Yeah,
what?
local church. We did twice.
Yep.
Okay, you went through it twice.
Yeah, about halfway through, we need a little more motivation, and once you get that motivation, you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, it's real. The snowball just gets bigger and bigger, and here we go.
Yeah.
You stuck with us 4 years, 48 months. That's a stripe, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you went after it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of leaves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
A lot.
I already quit those jobs too, by the way.
I bet. I don't blame you. So, what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
What's yours?
Mine would be a why. You gotta have a why to really see you. My family never really had money. They were going to the bank seemed like every other day, getting more money for this, more money for that. And I don't want that for my kids. Not at all.
Yeah.
Change your family tree.
Exactly, and I don't want them having college debt like we took us forever to pay off. I don't want that for them. Just change everything for them.
Yeah, I would say definitely mine's the budget and goals. Physical, I would definitely encourage people to use physical goals. We did a chain link for the kids, and it was but ugly in our house. But my husband's like, well, let's stay in there until we cut every single one off. So that was my motivation to show each one what we cut off. We let them cut them off when we, had the amounts, and we took a video. When we did our debt-free, in our house.
Absolutely.
And cut
Absolutely. And how old are they? Let's get them up into the shot here.
Yeah.
What are their names and ages?
Luke is 7, and Emmy is 3.
Okay, fine.
Wow.
So they were participating, chopping up the links then. He's got his T-shirt on. My family tree's been changed.
Yep.
And hers is... what? Cold so much?
Sold.
Sold so much I thought I was next.
Oh, that's funny. That's a good one.
You got all the isms on there.
Yeah,
I like it. Well done, guys. Oh, it's fun. Very fun. You guys are amazing. You've done an amazing thing here. How's
Thank
it
you.
feel to be free?
It
Free.
feels good. Yeah, it feels
great.
real good.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. We've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. #1 bestseller as of today, and we'll give you a copy because that's the next chapter in your story. You're going to go on and do that now. Finish out, but do change your family tree. Become wealthy.
Yep.
That's the thing to do here, and be outrageously generous along the way. Very cool.
Absolutely.
We got a copy of Total Money Makeover, so you can give it to someone in case they need a coaster.
Yeah,
Yes.
And because it makes a really good one, and then it appears to show up when
At
it
the
needs
right
to.
time.
At the right time.
It's a smart bomb. It just lays there ticking until it's time, right?
Waiting for you to be ready.
That's it. That's the whole thing. All right, Mike and Lindsay, Luke and Emmy, Hudson, Illinois, $95,000 paid off in 48 months, making 97 to 124. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
They did not hold back.
Well, I mean, she's 3.5, and she wins the internet.
She's got pipes, man.
She busted it. Way
Wow.
to go. Way to go, Emmy. You're a star. That's amazing.
That's
Luke ain't
fantastic.
bad either. I mean,
No.
he yelled as big as his hat there.
If you're listening on radio, go watch it on YouTube because
You've
the cowboy
got
hat.
to see. That was amazing.
Wow.
This is what it looks like when you change your family tree.
Yeah, they're never gonna
They have
forget this day.
That's dialed into their memory. You can't get rid of it now.
Yeah.
That time that my dad got a leaf blower.
Yep.
And my mom, and they worked extra.
And I cut the chains with
And we had
scissors.
the butt ugly thing in our house, and I remember being a little bitty kid cutting that up, and they can tell their grandkids that.
Yeah.
That's what a family tree being changed is. It's not just the money. It's not just the math. You get out of debt, you've got the math to change your life. To become a millionaire, you got all that working. But more importantly, you completely dial in a whole new financial DNA imprint on the kiddos. They mom and dad don't borrow money. Oh, wait a minute. We're Ramseys. We don't borrow money. It's like a foreign thing. No, of course. Oh, no. There's a lot of things Ramsey's don't do, and that's one of them. We don't borrow money. I mean, can you imagine Rachel Cruz just...
I can totally see that. And she said more is caught than taught, from Smart Money, Smart Kids.
It's an imprint. This
is what's happening. They saw this whole experience. They got to be a part of it, and now they get to live a very different life because of it. And
they will. And because now they're going to live out the rest of their childhood watching these principals cause their parents to become wealthy.
Yep.
And then that finishes off the job of the parenting part of the equation.
That legacy, it's such an incredible why to have when you can go, man, what would it be like to be able to pay for my grandkids' college?
What would it be like to be the last Ramsey in this branch of the tree, the last one that had debt?
Wow.
The last one that had to call and beg some stupid butt idiot on the other end of the phone on a credit card company to raise my limit so I have a place to stay. I'm the last one, by God.
Never again.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that moment, man. You gotta have it. This is the Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Tanya's in Denver. Hey, Tanya, what's up?
Hi, Dave. Congratulations on your book, reaching number 1.
Thank you.
I did pick up a copy.
Well, it's all your fault then. We appreciate you.
Yeah. I have a question for you about investment strategy. I typically do a backdoor Roth.
Me too.
However, I heard you say that potentially that loophole is looking to be closed. And so for this, is there concern about doing that backdoor conversion for this tax year? And are you recommending people hold off on doing that or not?
I did mine yesterday.
Okay.
It was part of the Build Back America bill that failed.
Right.
But my comment, I think, in addition that you may have heard, was that that I do think someday it's going to be addressed. That the loophole, it is literally a loophole. I mean, it's not illegal, it's not immoral, but it is it's a loophole. And so I think one of these days somebody in a piece of legislation is going to tack that on the end of it. But if they want to stay with the rich people must be punished narrative that generally comes out of the income tax system.
So what would be your recommendation, if and when that does close as another alternative?
Well, I mean, that's closed, so you just got to do other investing, obviously. I mean, I buy.
Yeah.
It's only $8,000. I mean, there's only so much you can do anyway. But and me and Sharon. So in addition to that, I do low turnover mutual funds, and I buy real estate that I pay cash for.
Okay.
You know what a low turnover mutual fund is?
Yeah, it's the ones that they don't change what's inside of it very often.
Right. So there's no taxation on it until you sell it to amount to anything.
Yep.
Because it's basically capital gains growth, like buying a single stock that goes up. You don't pay any taxes on the increase until you sell it. Same thing. And so it gives you a tax deferred growth in a sense. And it's capital gains growth at that, which is wonderful, meaning you get tax capital gains rate rather than ordinary income rate. So
it's a good question for these high income earners where they go, all right, I can do my 401k. I'm not eligible for the Roth IRA. I can do a backdoor Roth.
Let's explain the backdoor Roth.
Yeah. So for a high income earner,
make over $200,000 a year household income.
There is a loophole to where you can turn it into a Roth by contributing on the traditional side after tax.
Exactly. So you're not allowed to do a Roth IRA if you make over $200,000 a year household income. So what you can do is called a backdoor Roth, and this is the loophole that we're talking about, is you can open and you can always roll, regardless of your income, things into a Roth. You can always roll to a Roth.
If it's on the traditional side, you can pay the conversion.
If you've got anything in there, if you're willing to pay the conversion, then you're going to have that. So anything that no matter what your income is, you can roll stuff to a Roth. You can roll an old 401k, an old IRA into a Roth, and then if it was traditional, then the amount of gain or amount that's in it would be taxable at that point. Now, if you open an after-tax, meaning there was not taxes held out, it's after the tax already been held out of the money, traditional IRA, and instantaneously roll it to a Roth, there's no taxes. And that's called a backdoor Roth IRA. And I do one every year for me and one every year for my wife. It's not a lot of money, but it's that much more that I can get into tax-free growth. The other thing, and that's what you only do that kind of stuff at baby step 7 and beyond, and if you're a high income earner. The other thing that people do a lot, and I do this as well, is the match at your company is not allowed to be Roth. It has to be traditional. And so once a year, I roll all of my match from my company into the Roth and pay the taxes on that. That is tax. That does create taxes. But I roll it all to Roth and pay the taxes on it, and roll it all to Roth and pay taxes on it. So years ago, I've converted everything into Roth. So all of the money that is in the retirement, former SEPs, former IRAs, former 401ks, everything, anything you've got like that outstanding, when I reached baby step 7, I had extra money, then I would roll stuff to Roth, pay the taxes, because that tax, in a sense, becomes an additional investment into it because it grows tax-free from then on.
Yeah, and that's the goal, is to have all this money without Uncle Sam's hands on it ever again when you withdraw that.
Exactly, and it's growing tax-free. So all the growth I get between now and death is completely tax-free. And you know, an inherited IRA on a Roth, there's no taxes. So because it's a Roth, and so it cleans up your estate plan in that regard too.
And beyond that, beyond all of the tax advantage, tax deferred retirement accounts, things like that, then we move into taxable investments, where you're just going to pay, your capital gains rate and all of that. But that can be a great option for those high income earners, and a lot of people do this to retire early. You kind of have that bridge account where you go, I'm going to live off this taxable investment until I can pull out from my retirement.
Exactly, a low turnover, and a lot of ways to get an easy way to get to a low turnover. Easy way to find something with a 5% or less turnover ratio is the S&P 500 index fund. No commission. I dump money in those, additional spillover money, so to speak, in those all the time. And if I leave it there a year before I take it out, whatever growth is going to be taxed at capital gains rate, which in my case is more than 15%, but it's still less than my full complete over taxation. I'm just about to puke when I look at what we're going to pay this year. But Chris is in New York City. Hey, Chris, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I had a quick question for you. So my wife and I are currently renting our home from family and have just considered buying a home in Florida. Wanted to make it our primary residence, split our time between where we're currently at because all of our family is here, but get away from the winters. Also wanted to start building some equity in this property, homestead the property for income tax purposes because I'm self-employed. While we don't have a mortgage, my only debt is a school loan, which will be paid off in November. Otherwise, that's kind of where we're at. So I wanted to get some insight, find out.
So you're 50-50 between New York and Florida?
That would be the goal. Yes. Yep.
Okay. What's your household income?
Between $275 and $300 a year. So it really depends on the year, but
you're really right on the line 50-50. You're not talking about 90-10.
Yeah, because we're young and our whole family is where we currently live.
It kind of defeats the purpose of being near family if you're not half the year.
Yeah, right. But, we're looking to get into the sunshine a little bit and maybe away from the winter, for 6 months in a day, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to get out of New York taxes.
Yeah.
But
so I guess my dilemma is, I'm in a unique situation where I do get a little bit of help on the school loan on a monthly basis.
What do you mean by that?
I'm throwing like $4,000 a month at that. I have, a family member giving me a little bit of money, as part of my deal towards the school loan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you still had debt. I apologize. I didn't get that part.
A little bit.
How much do you have? How much do you owe on the student loan?
November.
Okay, I would pay that off.
$40,000.
Don't buy a second house till you pay your student loan off.
You have $40,000 in debt?
$40,000 in school loan at 2.99.
Yeah, I don't care what the interest rate is.
And you make $300,000.
Yeah.
Why is this not paid off in 2 months?
Waiting on this relative.
This past year was the first year I earned that. Prior to that, it was far less than that.
You need to clean that up, and you need to have a strong emergency fund before we start talking about buying a second house.
And you're renting right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Would you continue to rent?
I do have. Go ahead, George.
Would you continue to rent in New York, and then you'd purchase a home in Florida?
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
yep.
I would get out of debt then. This is your home purchase is what it amounts to with your new income and your new plan. And so I'd be out of debt, have an emergency fund, and have a good, strong down payment for the Florida home purchase before you do it. So it sounds like it's going to be a year before you get around to that.
But use this income. Do not let this income float away. I know this is new income, and you may be tempted to spend it all. Do not. You could get crazy, and you could pay cash with this kind of income. So use it wisely.
You could put a big chunk down on this house in a year and be debt-free and have an emergency fund and then get it paid off within a couple of years in Florida. And that does change the whole equation then.
Take advantage of that big shovel.
Good stuff. Cool. Hey, thanks for the call, Chris. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. George Camel, Ramsey personality, host of the Fine Print podcast on Ramsey Networks, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. As we talk about your relationships, we talk about your work and your career, we talk about your money, and we talk about you. It is The Ramsey Show. 888-825-5225. We are celebrating news that we got this morning that the book Baby Steps Millionaires has debuted as a number one bestseller in the nation. Thank you guys, all of you that bought it. We appreciate you and very much, and we're going to keep our promises that the book will do the things we told you it would do if you do the things in the book that we told you that you should do. How ordinary people built extraordinary wealth, and how you can too. That's what it's all about. So again, open phones here at 888-825-5225. Brad's in Phoenix. Hey, Brad, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
Okay, so I've been married 32 years. I'm going through a divorce that's not going to get fixed. And I have two options the way I've been looking at it. The wife has a lawyer. I have a lawyer. I can take 50% of her pension, which would be $1,700 a month. Our house appraised at $650,000. I think it's a little high, but appraised at $650,000. We owe $90,000. I make $80,000 a year. That's without half of her pension. My option A is, which she said she might honor, even though her lawyer's probably not going to want her to honor it, would be I give her $100,000 cash and she walks away from the house and I don't touch her pension. Option B, which my lawyer says I should definitely do, is to definitely take 50% of her pension, which would be $1,700 a month, but then I have to pay her $230,000 cash, which means I have to refinance my home. So I'm not sure which way to go.
Where's the $100,000 coming from if you did the option A?
A gift, if you will. my father would probably help me out, or I could just simply refinance $100,000 out of my equity.
I see.
But everybody keeps telling me, do not walk away from that pension, because if she dies before me, that pension will keep paying out. At least that's how it's written up. She may want to change that and say, no, when I die, Bradley is not getting anything else. And I think that's how it's written up now, but my lawyer's going to argue saying the only way Brad's going to honor taking your pension is if it keeps paying whether Kathy predeceases you or not.
Yeah.
So right now it sounds good. Give her $100,000. I'm sitting on a $650,000 house. Now I owe almost $200,000. I could rent it out, sell it, do whatever. That would always be a good nest egg for me. But everybody's telling me definitely take half of her pension, because that's constant income that you don't have to worry about.
What do you do for a living?
Security technician.
Okay. A friend of mine that does divorce recovery says that divorce turns a marriage into a business transaction. And that's where I'm at. That's what you're doing. You were very calculated and walking through this. How long has this been going on?
The marriage has been kind of on the rocks for the past 10 years.
I mean, how long was this divorce declared and you got lawyers? How long ago was that?
We started, she filed for divorce late October.
Okay.
And we have a meeting on Monday to, it's not the final decree or whatever you call it, but it's a meeting saying, here's what Kathy wants, here's what Brad wants, and the judge says, okay, get your stuff together and come back to me with a decision.
Yeah.
We were going to go through just a mediator, but I wanted to play it safe and got a lawyer, which I'm already $8,000 in.
That's okay. You need to do that. There's a lot of money involved here, and you need a lawyer. You did the right thing. You did
the other side of this is she keeps saying that, by me taking half her pension, I'm going to be broke. I got to find an apartment, yada, yada. I understand that. The best apartment we can find for her and her lifestyle is going to be about $1,500 a month. Yeah. But I got a feeling she's also got a little nest egg from an old boyfriend that's going to inherit about $25 million. So I got a feeling he's going to take care of her in some fashion also. But I'm putting all my social things aside and looking at this as a strict business transaction.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to separate the finance with the emotions, because what I'm seeing is if you take half her pension, it's going to create this weird tension where you're still intertwined in her life. And so the part I like about the other one is just splitting
kids? You got kids?
All grown up out of the house.
Grandkids?
Negative.
Okay. Mathematically, I would do option A, $100,000, and take the house and be done with it. Let her have her pension. Relationally, I would take option A and let her have her pension, because it's a clean break. You're not stepping all in each other's stuff. I don't know if there's such a thing as a clean break after 32 years, but I guess there is.
No.
But
we're still going to be friends, but there's, we don't say I love you as much as we used to, but...
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, if you're taking half of your friend's pension, it's going to hurt that friendship for sure.
Well, the thing is, I think you're fine. You're going to be okay, and she's going to be okay. The pension's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal.
$100,000 right now sounds real good. I'm sitting on a house that I owe $90. Now it's going to be I owe $190.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. And then you're probably not going to keep that house. But basically, you're trading the equity in the house, the majority of the equity in the house, for her pension. That's what it amounts to, and that's the negotiation that you're proposing. And yeah, that's what I would do. Your lawyer's calculation. You guys are putting way too much value on a $1,700 pension. It's not that big a deal. It's not that much money.
I'm thinking, but it is.
It's not that much money.
Income.
It's not $17,000. It's $1,700. You make $80,000.
Right. But what if something happens to me and I can't work?
Well, you need to get a disability policy, and you need to start saving some dadgum money and setting yourself up for retirement. But you need to do that anyway. $1,700 wasn't going to save your butt, or $850 for sure ain't going to save your butt. And so y'all are acting like this pension is some kind of big deal. It's not. It's not enough money here to spit at. It's nice if you send it to me. I'll cash the check, but it's not. I'm letting it go. Your plan is the best one on the table. You've already thought through this, and I'm with you. $100,000, you get the house, let her pension go. That's what I would do. And if she doesn't take that, she's a fool. But there's a lot of fools in divorce court. A lot of them. A lot of them. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today here on The Ramsey Show. He's the host of the Fine Print podcast. A very popular podcast. You should check it out at Ramsey Networks. George, we got a good question in by social.
Yeah, let's do this. Here's the question. My husband and I were blessed with a significant inheritance after the passing of my father last year. Since we have no debt, we would like to give a portion of this inheritance to each of our 3 adult children, and we would like to make a significant donation to a local nonprofit children's home. What advice do you have on how we can do this without paying additional taxes?
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know how much it is. We don't have the amount there, but we do know that this year the gift tax amount is $16,000. What that means is if an individual gives an individual more than $16,000, it is taxed at the gift tax rate, the amount over, at 55 or 60%. It's crazy how much they take. So you don't want to violate that. Now, individual to individual is the key here. So that means if you got grown kids, you and your husband, and your grown kids are married, then there's 4 individuals involved. So mom can write her son and her daughter-in-law 2 separate checks for $16,000. Dad can write son and daughter-in-law 2 separate checks for $16,000. So we can move $64,000 from an adult couple to an adult couple with 4 checks, and it'll survive an audit. But don't let anything be more than $16,000 individual to individual. If you do, you're going to get into gift tax, or you're going to have to check out with your estate tax planning attorney what's called the Unified Estate Tax Credit, meaning you use up some of your federal exemption with this gift. If you're trying to give somebody a couple $100,000, that's what you're going to do. You're going to step over into that rather than this. But most people can, if couple to couple, that $64,000 will take care of. Now, as far as the children's home goes, that's probably a 501c3.
Yeah, so if you're going to donate to something like that, there are no limits on how much you can give. There's no $16,000 limit. You could give $100,000 if you want, and you won't pay additional taxes for giving to a 501c3. In fact, it can actually lower your taxable income. So it's tax deductible.
It's a tax deductible donation to a nonprofit if it's a verified 501c3. And so you can take a tax deduction on that, and depending on your income as to how much of the deduction you can use and so forth.
And some people do standard deductions, some people itemize. So I like to work with a tax pro when it comes to these situations. If it's going to be a large amount, you may be better off itemizing versus going the standard deduction.
You will be. You will be if it's a large amount, because you're going to have given enough that you're going to get more tax break on the gift to this 501c3 if it's substantial. Now, if you're giving $5,000, it might not be.
Yeah.
But if you're getting like $50,000, $100,000, or something like that out of this to that children's home, then you're going to want to itemize, and you're going to want to do that with a tax pro, and you're going to want to lay that down that way and make that happen. Because
and the big thing here is, do not let a tax situation determine your generosity. It's a great benefit to have your taxes lowered, but I want your giving to be from the heart if they want to do this, not because we can lower our taxes.
No, it doesn't determine my generosity, but it does determine you don't want that spiritually, you don't want that emotionally, but you just want to be wise about it. For instance, if you wanted to give your kids more than $64,000 couple to couple, you might do some of it in December and some of it in January. So you have 2 different tax years. Now we got $128,000. And so you can, if you're just careful about how you do it, it's just the timing and the process that you're laying out there that allows you to do this without any taxes on it. And so just you don't want to be, 1 month away, 8 months away from saving taxes on something. And so don't determine your generosity, but it could determine the structure of your generosity, how you're going to go about it. And we're going to write 4 checks instead of just write 1 big check, that kind of thing. And each one be itemized in the 4-column, mom to daughter-in-law, mom to son, names on there. So in the event there's an audit, you can come back and you got a trail here. You got a paper trail that'll cause you to be able to survive that gifting process.
It's a great question.
It's very detailed, very interesting. But I oftentimes run into people who make the mistake of just, and it shows how philosophically broken our tax system is, that I own something, I can't give it to somebody without getting screwed. That's broken. So, but a lot of people don't think through the taxes. And so, like, a mom will have a house and she's like 75 and she goes, I don't want to leave it in the will. I'm just going to go ahead and deed it to Junior. Huge tax mistake. You can't just give it away. This house is worth $300,000. If you get audited, there's going to be you have gift tax money due on that. And so if you don't go under the unified estate tax and go get an estate tax planning, someone to help you with the tax planning on this, you can get hammered. And it just feels like, it's my house, I'll be able to give it to my son. It's my house, I'll be able to give it to the neighbor down the street. I don't care, it's mine. I ought to be able to give my stuff away. But no, by God, if it's not a 501c3, you're going to get tagged. And so
be smart about this.
Yeah,
know the laws, work with a pro, understand the situation.
It's really important. Get with one of our endorsed local providers for taxes and get some advice. Really, there's about 3 or 4 little things you can do where you can sidestep this stuff if you bother. But if you wait until, I've already deeded it over, jeez, man, quickly undo that before somebody finds it and then go do it right. And it's just, you get yourself caught in this sideways big time. It's a big problem. Good stuff. Thanks for joining us there by Social Good Things. How would you feel if you knew you could retire with dignity, that you could leave an inheritance to your family? Now, that'd be nice. The truth is, you can have that kind of life, and you can build wealth, and you can become a millionaire. That's what this book, Baby Steps Millionaire, is all about. That's what Financial Peace University is about. That's what premium version of Every Dollar is all about. And so, we're about getting you out of debt so that you can be generous, like we were just talking about, getting you out of debt so that you change your family tree, getting you out of debt so that you build wealth. I don't want you to be rich so you're a jerk. I want you to be wealthy because you can do good things with that money when you get it. Outrageous generosity is one of the things we teach you all the time around here. So you can use here. What we're doing right now, we got the best year ever bundle. Here's the bundle. Access to Financial Peace University, the premium version of Every Dollar, the 2 resources to help you take back control of your biggest wealth building tool, your income, and a copy of the brand new #1 bestseller, Baby Steps Millionaires, to learn the right way to invest and get to $1 million net worth. All of this is called the Best Year Ever Bundle. And you just go to RamseySolutions.com/best. That's RamseySolutions.com/best. And I just want to do my Pippa the Pig.
I would love to hear
Best year ever.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
That was pretty good.
I've got granddaughters, and so I didn't know that they they now have an English accent.
That's the language you have to use around them.
Because of Peppa the Pig, yeah. So hillbilly kids with English accents. It's pretty interesting.
Strange times at the Ramsey house.
Best year ever. So
that's a good bundle, though. And what I love about this, even if you're not in baby step 4 through 6 and you're going, well, I got a pile of debt, why even read this book? What I found reading this book is it's so much more than just investing advice. Yes, there's a little bit of that, but there's so much about belief and mindset and realizing that it doesn't have to be the way I thought it had to be. It unlocks some things.
Belief is everything. And it's not just positive thinking stuff. I mean, Zig Ziglar used to say, positive thinking will do more than negative thinking, which is true. No question about that. But it won't make you grow 3 feet. It won't make me have muscles that are big. I'm 60 years old. I'm past that issue. Okay. So, that's not a thing. But but here's the thing. If you don't believe that pushing the button that says start on your car is going to cause it to start, then you won't push the button. If you ever sat there when the battery went dead and you go, click, 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 click.
Sad situation.
You finally quit believing that it's going to work, right? And so you don't do it anymore. But if you know that when you push the button it's going to start, you would do it. And see, that's belief.
Yeah.
Belief causes action. You have to be some kind of psychologically, John Deloney problem, right? If you acted on things that you didn't believe to be true.
Yeah.
It's just like, why did you think it was going to work? Well, it's not, But here's the thing. Millionaires, 97% of them, when we interviewed them, said they believed that you could become a millionaire, and they went and did it.
Wow.
When we interviewed the general public, only 69% believe you can still become a millionaire. And if you think you can or you think you can't,
you're right.
Henry Ford said, you're right. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, on the debt-free stage, Paul and Daly are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having us.
We're honored. Where do you guys live?
We live in Louisville, Kentucky.
All right. Welcome to Nashville.
Yeah, thanks.
And all the way down here to do a debt-free scream. How much have you paid off?
$83,000.
All right. How long did this take?
11 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
200 to 225.
Wow. What do you guys do for a living?
We're both physical therapists.
PTs. Good.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah.
Well done, guys. Well done. Good. So I'm going to guess and say some of that 83 might have been a little PT student loan.
It was all.
Most of it, yeah.
All of it. Okay.
We started at 290. So.
Yeah, we started at 290.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And worked your way all the way down to 83 before you started our program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did you meet us 11 months ago?
Oh, well, actually, it's a longer story. We took FPU at Southeast Christian in 2013. Like Daly said, started out with $290K. She's the saver. I'm the spender. Mm-hmm. So I spent the money while she tried to save it. Fast forward to 2019.
You're saying you flunked FPU.
I did.
Okay.
I did. She passed successfully. I did not.
He was pretty good for a few weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks we did the envelopes, and then I fell off the wagon. So, yeah. But fast forward to 2019, did my first Excel spreadsheet and was like, you know what, we could pay this off. I think I gave ourselves the goal of paying off my student loan by the end of 2021, and then hers by 2023. Then COVID hit in 2020. Mm-hmm. Started doing some overtime. Started paying off more. Paid off mine 6 months early, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. And then hit hers heavy. And paid it off in November. So we finished a year early.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So
Just like that.
what happened, Paul? I mean, what'd you do with the evil twin?
Well, I think when I put together that spreadsheet, that
the interest was in it was in a red negative number. We're Kentucky fans, and so going against Louisville's red.
Yeah, don't want any red on
No,
there.
we don't. And so the lower I could get that red number, the better.
Okay.
And so when I was able to play around with the numbers and say, if I put this much more towards it, that number goes down. And so that was my main motivator.
So put the investing in blue.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't seen sports rivalry be a debt-free driver.
Such a strong motivator, right?
There's a lot of reasons to get rid of red, and that's not a bad one at all. That's not a bad one at all. I'll take anything I can get if we can get going here. So, Daly, he comes in and says, I did a spreadsheet, and I think that you're a genius. What did you say?
Yeah, that's about how that went. We had separate bank accounts at that time, and he wanted to merge them. And I pushed back pretty heavily against that because we had everything set so well, and it was going to take a lot of phone calls and internet things to merge at that point because all the auto drafts and all that kind of stuff. But I think that probably helped us the most because we stopped kind of going at each other. Like, we would send a text and be like, hey, we're out of diapers. Can you get them on the way? And he'd be like, well, I got them last time. It's like, that's a ridiculous thing to worry about when you're, making $200,000 a year. So it just got to where enough was enough. And
wow. Yeah. So the first time you guys combined bank accounts was in this debt-free journey.
Yeah. Early last year, we got hit with a surprise IRS debt from the year before. And so we sat down at the table and I said, look, we had the goal of finishing it by the end of last year, and then we got hit with that $9,000 tab that we had to pay, and we buckled down. She started taking PT students at work. I worked in the kitchen. I worked as a patient aide. I helped my dad build and repair pools, and so just getting it all together, and we were able to do it.
And you made it anyway.
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
We made the goal, yeah.
We actually made it almost a year earlier than we ever intended to.
Right,
so.
Because of all the extra work, but also because of COVID overtime.
Yes.
Yeah, COVID, in a lot of ways, it's been an awful time in a lot of ways.
Financially, it was a blessing.
But it helped us out a lot because, they were really short-staffed at work, so he was able to pull overtime that he normally isn't able to do. He had more free time because he was doing less patient care, which enabled him to really hammer those spreadsheets. So, yeah.
Okay, so now that you did it, what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
For me, it was the budget. Communication is key. You got to have a big dream. Our kids are sitting over there right now, so that's definitely our why. We want to travel as well. And you definitely got to stick to it. We had that IRS debt. We had our furnace go out. Do you know how to change a blower motor on a furnace?
I'm afraid I do.
I do as well, thanks to YouTube.
Yeah.
So that saved us some money there, but just sticking to it. It's easy to make excuses, but if you lean into it and commit, persevere, and keep going.
Wow. So, Paul, talk to the guy that went through FPU and has not done this spreadsheet yet. How do you get him to do that?
Gosh.
Put the opposing team's colors on it?
That worked for me. Just sitting down and seeing that negative balance, how much money was going towards interest. It's painful to see, how much money you're just basically throwing away. And so that was my big thing, to try to get out of it faster.
Daly, talk to the people who don't want to combine accounts about how inefficient it is and also how relationally stupid it is to be separated.
It really was. I will say that. I came from like a family, like my parents had separate accounts, still have separate accounts, and they've done fine. It's worked really well for them, but it has worked better, I think, in the long run for us to put them back together. It was a headache for a month or two working it out and figuring it out because like he would come to me and be like, okay, how much is the water bill? How much is the LG&E bill? What is this bill? Where I always knew all of that because I had been the one managing it for the last 5 years. But I think in the long run, it has really saved a lot of irritation, like a lot of tit for tat and a lot of just like nitpicking at each other of who's buying what.
The diaper thing, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
or dinner, like.
Yeah, it sounds like more like roommates than husband and wife.
In a way, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, in a way it was.
Wow.
So.
Well, you guys are incredible. You're not afraid of work. You may have been afraid of doing a budget and spreadsheet early on, but you guys have never been afraid of work, and that really propelled this journey.
Honestly, yeah.
Amen. That's true. Well done, you guys. I'm proud of you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your help.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you brought the kiddos. Bring
We
them up. What are
did.
their names and ages?
Come on over, boys.
So we got Finley here, who's 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then we got Sawyer, who's 3. And Finn wanted to say something.
You want me
You
to
want to
pick
say
it
it? Go ahead.
No.
You don't want to say it?
Oh,
No.
come on.
Go ahead.
I changed my mind.
Okay.
He changed his mind. All right. That's okay.
All right.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we got a copy of Baby Steps
Look
to
at the camera.
Millionaires for you. That's the next chapter in your story for you guys to go on and be millionaires. You're on your way to do that. You got 2 good reasons there to change your family tree. Very, very fun. And a copy of Total Money Makeover for you as well, for you to give away and stir somebody up with. Paul and Daly, Finley and Sawyer,
Ready?
Louisville,
Ready?
Kentucky, $83,000 paid off in 11 months, making $200 to $225. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Here we go. 3,
3,
2, 1.
Say,
We're debt free!
This is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Wow.
Just in time for them to rip off the headsets off the parents there. They were just
There is something about these sports headsets with the microphone in front that attracts
So much to grab.
little kids like nothing you've ever seen. It's a handle. It's supposed to be grabbed,
Yeah.
but they do a great job with it. So
what a cute family.
very well done, you guys. Very well done. It's man, there's some important lessons there.
Oh yeah.
You know, number one, if you didn't get started when you took the class, you still can get started.
Yep, not too late, even if you
you haven't
flunked.
combined incomes and combined your money and working together with the efficiencies of communication and relationship efficiencies and even money efficiencies by combining your accounts, you can still do it.
Yep.
A lot
So
of
it
reasons to
sounds
do
like
these things.
It's never too late to change. You know, they say more is caught than taught, and her parents never combine accounts, and so they went, well, I guess we don't need to combine accounts. It worked for them. But it's never too late to decide to do something different.
Yep. Yep.
It's
and
amazing.
hey, you know what? If we're wrong, you can always take them back.
That's right.
But we're not wrong.
Not yet. Not yet. 100% chance of being right when you're Dave Ramsey.
Oh, wow. I'm 100% sure that I'm an expert on my opinion. This is The Ramsey Show. Thanks for joining us, America. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Danny is with us in St. Louis. Hi, Danny. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Hi. So I was calling because my husband and I are looking for some advice regarding transitioning our mindset as we enter baby steps 4 through 6.
Okay.
So for a little background, so we got married in August and we became debt-free in December.
Way to go.
Thank you. Since then, we've finished baby step 3 and we've started our 15% to our retirement plan. But we're struggling with balancing short-term goals like saving for larger purchases versus just living more freely and starting to enjoy things more now that we're debt-free.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You do have your 15% going into retirement.
Correct.
And you are committed to finding some money to throw at the house and get it paid off in baby step 6, right?
Yeah, we have a teeny tiny mortgage left, so and that's not a huge concern at this point.
Okay. Well, I still want to finish it off. So that's still part
Of course,
still baby step
absolutely.
6. But so
Absolutely.
your issue is just enjoying some fun money versus purchasing a car in 2 years.
Yeah, so I'm 27 and I've been driving the same car since I turned 16.
Okay.
So I'm a little tired of it.
You need a car. You need a car. Yeah.
I need a car.
What's your
yeah.
household
So,
income?
We make about $175.
No, you make a lot of money then. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, we do well.
So when you lay out the budget and you're having this discussion with your new husband, is there too much money going on fun or not enough money going on fun? Because you ought to be able to buy a car out of 175 and still have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's more just that we're balancing them both. I mean, we're doing pretty good saving, but I think we thought it would happen faster because of how much money we were able to put towards our debt. Mm-hmm. But now since we've started going on weekend trip, I mean, we're not being reckless by any means. We're still working our budget and everything. It's just then we'll book that flight and then we'll be like, man, that money could have gone towards a car. But we really want to enjoy things too. Mm-hmm. Because it's not an emergency. I mean, while I'm tired of my car, it runs and it gets me to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is a normal dilemma a lot of people deal with because you've been so gazelle intense, and now it feels like, well, we should be focused on the goals. Having fun is not part of the deal, but remember, you live like no one else so that you can live like no one else. And so if I'm you, I'm putting it in the budget, and then there's no guilt about the trip because we budgeted for the trip.
Yeah, that's the thing you're not doing, I think. Okay. Let's step back at that a minute and go, okay, if we allocate X number of dollars in the budget for weekend travel. Let's just give it a category, okay? Mm-hmm. And having done that, we agree we're saving $1,000 a month towards a car. I'm just making up a number. $2,000 a month towards a car, whatever the number is, okay? And then you go and you spend what you said you were going to spend on weekend travel, not more, then there would be no pull. So that tells me you're not allocating these things until after the fact.
Yeah, I think I'm more tempted to be like, okay, well, let's see how little we can live off of.
Yeah, but I mean, if you put it down the budget, you have that discussion before the money leaves and before the trip happens.
Okay.
You and your husband are sitting and looking at it on the paper, and you're going, okay, this is what we're spending on this. This is how I solved the problem with my wife, because she is a tightwad, and she would not spend money on herself. Afterwards, after we went through all that hell with bankruptcy and everything. And we had no trouble allocating clothing money for the family, but she would spend 100% of it on the kids and be Scarlett O'Hara, I'll just wear the drapes. And which is a bunch of crap. And so finally we had to break it out to where we had a separate envelope for Sharon's clothes, to make her spend money on herself on Sharon's clothes. And that kind of helped her almost heal from this tight-fisted trauma that we had been through, right? That causes your fist to be so tight. And so we went from intense to intentional and said, okay, this money, the money in this envelope that says Sharon's clothes cannot be spent on anything except for Sharon's clothes. And you want to know what's weird? We still have that envelope. That's weird. I just thought of that. That's weird. Wow. We should stop that. She has plenty of clothes. But, oh my gosh. But I mean, the point was that exactly what you're experiencing was, you're going, okay, I want to be more mature, but I also want to have fun. I mean, while we're going on this trip, we should not do that. We should just still be gazelle intense. But if you lay it out and you put a name on it and you say, this money is to be spent on weekend travel, it can't be spent on your car. It's already spent. It's spent on paper. It's gone. Like Sharon's clothes. The money's gone. You can't spend it on anything else. It's already been labeled. Sharon's clothes. It can't be spent on anything else.
Disassociate yourself emotionally and say, hey, this $2,000 for the weekend trip, this is not car money. So we're not going to see it as money that could go towards the car.
And when it's part of this is a great discussion, by the way. And when it's part of the overall budget, you say, okay, that means we're putting, I'm making up whatever number it is. You can make up whatever number you want, Danny, but $2,000 a month on the car, okay? And so I'm still going to get the car at Christmas. I'm still going to get the $15,000 car at Christmas. I mean, still going to get it. And so it's not knocking me off of a reasonable goal. Now, yes, I could get the car in August instead of December by doing no travel, but we're making the adult decision to be intentional and say we're doing some weekend trips, make $175,000. And it's going to slow down my car a little bit, but I'm still getting the car, so I'm still being an adult. We're not out of control, but I think you got to label it and release it.
Okay, yeah.
That's what it took me back to a memory from 30 years ago almost, for me to do that. But that's a really good question. And the other thing you got to do is you have to follow the narrative of we're going from intense when we leave baby step 3 to intentional.
Okay.
Yeah, we go from sprinting to marathon.
Yeah.
1 through 3 is a sprint. We're running from the cheetah. We're trying to keep from getting killed. We're getting the mess cleaned up, getting the emergency fund in place. Then 4, 5, and 6 is a marathon. We slow down because it's a longer run. We're pacing ourselves. We're keeping the nutrition, the hydration coming. We're going to finish this 13.5, this 26.2. We're going to, 13.1 or 26.2. We're going to finish here, and we're going to finish it up. We got to have a plan to do it all the way out, and I can't sprint until I see the tape.
Yeah.
And if I got a little left, I'll sprint that last little bit, but that's it. And so, yeah, go ahead and knock that house out. Go ahead and get that car bought. Go ahead and buy that couch or fix up that kitchen. Or you budget those things and you go, okay, at this month, I'm going to be able to do this month over here in the future. If I label this, and then you label the fund money and you're released of guilt.
Yeah, if you look down at your budget and you're in baby step 4 through 6 and there's not fun things on there, then you're doing it wrong. That's not the plan. The plan is not just to be gazelle intense forever and have no fun because Dave said so.
Dave didn't say that.
You got to do this stuff, and so put it in the budget. And even if you have to force yourself and go, we're going to go on weekend trips, we're going to have a date night budget, look down to where there's things you're excited about as a couple that you look forward to doing that's in your budget. That's going to help you release some of this. And you guys are doing great. You have more emotional maturity and financial maturity than most of America. So know that you're not doing anything wrong by not putting it all towards the car. But it's a common struggle. Me and my wife struggled with this as we paid off the house, Dave, because you want to be gazelle. We wanted to pay it off so badly that it was always going, well, that money could go towards the house. When you get there and you finish, it's surreal. Yeah.
But then there's also almost like this confusion because you do have to, she said it early in the call, you do have to switch a gear.
Yeah.
You got to downshift from intense to intentional and then label it. And labeling the money means it has to be spent on that, releases you to do that. And early in the budgeting process, you'll experience that same kind of a thing when you do your budget the first time and you actually label this number of dollars is for food. So when you go to the grocery store, you don't have this angst, this knot in your stomach, like when I buy food, is the electricity going to get cut off because I didn't pay the electric bill? No, because you got the electric bill covered in the budget and you've got this much allocated for food covered in the budget. And so you get this sense of peace, this sense of power when you start doing the written plan. You get on your Every Dollar app and you start running your budget out.
Yeah, there's amazing freedom in that.
So it's the same thing, though, that label and release. Label and release. Release the emotion around it. Label it. It has to be used for that, whatever you labeled it, unless you come back and reset the whole budget.
Good discussion.
Really good. Really good. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. My co-host today, Ramsey personality, George Camel, host of the Fine Print, Ramsey Network production. A whole season of that podcast now in the books. You should dial over to where podcasts are found and listen through the Fine Print. You'll learn a lot. George does a great job with that. We're talking today, as always, about your relationships, your money, your career, and your work, and you. The phone number here is 888-825-5225. Trevor is in New York City. Hi, Trevor. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Hey, George. Happy bestseller day.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
How can we help today?
Yeah, so I have a question regarding my student loan I took out probably about 7 years ago. I went to college when wasn't able to do it without taking out loans, but obviously now I wish I could have. But Back in that time, we had a cosigner go on to that loan. It was a family member. They didn't really want to do it, and it proved to kind of be like a point of contention, and nothing bad ever happened with it so far. And now that I'm in baby step 2, fast forward to today, I've been paying off all of my loan snowball style. And my question is, being that that's kind of part of my why, I recently received a cosigner release application for that loan. And I was curious what you guys thought about if I should go ahead and act on that cosigner release.
Why are they offering to release the cosigner? I've never heard of that.
Because it's been a certain amount of time since I've been paying on the loan now for like 2-3 years. So after, I think it's 24 months, they offer you to be able to drop them as a cosigner.
Drop them? Why wouldn't you?
Okay. Because that's kind of part of my why as to why I want to pay it off. And like, it's kind of giving me my intensity to go hardcore. So in essence, like I could take them off, but then I also fear like that would kind of halt my progress a little bit, my motivation.
Why would it halt the progress? What's the motivation behind having the cosigner on there?
Because by having them on there, it makes me want to pay it off even more to prove to them that it was possible to start with, and that it was I know it wasn't a good decision at the time, but that I was trustworthy with that decision.
Yeah. The student loan is not going to do that. You're going to do that with the way you live your life. You're trying to make this student loan work too hard in this relationship. It doesn't have the ability. It does not have the ability to make this person respect you.
Yeah.
So no, I think you can manage your own motivation. The fact that you can ask the question tells me that you can manage your own motivation, and you need to let them go as soon as possible for their sake, your sake, the sake of the relationship. Plus, there's no point in having them on there. I mean, it lowers the risk of the overall situation. I love it. Yeah, get rid of them. Definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they did this. I've never heard of it, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I figured it'll be paid off within the next year and a half anyway. But
release them, and then you just you just man up and say, all right, I gave up my bitterness motivation, so I have to have a new motivation.
Yeah,
a more positive one. Let's just get a noble one that's not me pissed off at somebody, and I'll show you.
Yeah, if anything's going to show them, it's you removing them as a cosigner. That to me is going.
No, that just lets him go. It doesn't show that he's reliable.
Sure.
To his point, but find something else to motivate you.
That was my instinct. Was you need a bigger why than a chip on the shoulder.
There you go.
The family
That's
member.
it.
That was it.
That's it.
But I love the spirit of it, the intensity you've got to pay this thing off. But don't let the family member be the motivation. You need a bigger why, man. You got to do it for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if they can't look at you and say, look, Trevor paid off all his loans. While he was doing it, he let me off. And gosh, I always wondered if he was going to be able to do it, and he did it. And it proved it. If they can't do that without being a cosigner, they can't do it while they are a cosigner.
Yeah.
They're just going to be that guy. They're just going to be the twerp, the rest of whoever this is. They're just going to be a twerp. And so that, you're asking the student loan to give you the power to make them respect you, and it does not give you that power. You being you manning up, you taking care of business, it puts you in a seat that should be respected, and then it's their choice whether they're going to do that or not. So don't ask this situation to do that for you, and that's how I would look at it. But it got you started. We'll give it that, but at least it got you started. And
good catalyst.
There's nothing wrong with having a little bit of a selfish or negative reason for getting started, but then you don't keep going. I mean, when I got started because I was pissed off at American Express, but I'm still pissed off at them, but it's not my motivation anymore.
Yeah. Anger's a good start, but it's got to turn into excitement about the future.
There you go. Good. Marcus is with us in L.A. Hey, Marcus, what's up?
Hey, Mr. Ramsey, how you doing?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Yeah, so I'm wondering if you guys can help me out. Me and my wife, we're due for about our fourth kid within the next couple of weeks.
Congratulations.
And, appreciate it. We have a regular vehicle that I use to get to and from work. And with this fourth kid coming, we're definitely going to need a new vehicle to be able to accommodate the extra child.
You only have one kid? You only have one vehicle?
Yes, sir. We have one vehicle.
Okay. And what's it worth?
We would say fair market value about $5,000.
Okay. And what is it?
It's just a regular sedan, a Ford.
Okay, so you sell a $5,000 sedan and you buy a $5,000 minivan.
Okay. Just that simple?
Leaves you in exactly the same place you were, but it's got seats.
Yes, sir.
And she ain't going to be pretty, but that'll give you motivation to upgrade as you get through baby step 2 and have a carrot dangling there in front of you. But it'll get you from A to B.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. We just wanted to know. Yeah, because we were just like, okay, the market's crazy for all these vehicles, and they look like they're up about 20% plus.
They are, but you're selling one in that market, too.
Gotcha.
So you're selling a sedan that's not a great vehicle, and you're going to buy a van that's not a great vehicle.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
But you're going to. But George's point is you're not going to stay there. This is just hey, you're going to get out of debt, and we're going to get ourselves moving and get this baby step 2 finished, and then we're going to get a better car. And honestly, after baby step 3, it is what a whole lot of people do. They've been driving some kind of freaking hoopty, and they do a move up after baby step 3 a lot. I don't know what the percentage is, but that's north of 50% of people.
Yeah. Well, cars are one of those things everyone feels like they got to upgrade on, and when you're in debt, it's not the time to do it.
When are you going to upgrade that hoopty of yours?
I was hoping that we'd avoid this. Dave, it's going to be a while, man.
Why?
It's just the car market's crazy right now. There's no deals to be had, and you know I love a good deal.
George is just going to drive it. You just got your house
You know what, Dave? Let me borrow one of your cars for a little while. You won't miss it too much. I'll take your worst one.
This is not about my car.
I will take your worst car.
This is about your car. This is about your car.
You don't like it when it's flipped on you.
No, it's not. I have good cars. It's not flipped on me. There's no flip at all here.
You got one to let me borrow? It'll be all right.
I got a spare, but you're just cheap.
Yeah, right.
You're just cheap, George.
Right. We landed there. Thank you.
This is the Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. If you've been paying attention to the real estate market, you've noticed the competition out there is high, in part because available inventory is low. When inventory is low, it simply means there are more buyers than sellers, and that turns the pressure up and drives the prices up, and it makes it hard to snag a right house. Sellers want to accept the right offer. This is not amateur hour. Just because a house will sell quick does not mean you need to do this on your own. This is a good way for you to screw this up. You need to have a pro by your side. If you're buying in this weird market, you need to have a pro by your side. If you're selling in this weird market, you could really miss out on tens of thousands of dollars if you don't. It's a problem. The agents that we endorse, our endorsed local providers, have years of industry success. They're not going to compromise your financial goals. Their pulse rate doesn't change. They're not running around like a chicken with their head cut off trying to get a deal done. They're going to walk with you and go, easy boy. Easy boy. This is how you do this. It's how you get the most money when you're selling it. This is how you get the best deal when you're buying it. And you can instantly connect with one of these endorsed local providers in your area. Just go to RamseySolutions.com/agent. That's a Ramsey trusted agent. You'll find one near you, right there in your neighborhood. RamseySolutions.com/agent. agent. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They are the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Britton in Utah. My wife and I are in our early 20s and make about $140K per year with no other debt other than our home.
Wow.
We expect our income to increase once I graduate college in a few months. How do I calculate the proper amount of life insurance if we expect our income to go up drastically over the next 15 to 20 years?
Wow.
Good problem to have in this situation. It's amazing.
Sure.
Looks like there's only one person working, and they got $140K coming in. So it's a good question, though. People think, if I get my life insurance, we recommend term life, 10 to 12 times your income.
Mm-hmm.
And people go, okay, well, if I get that in place, what happens if my life changes? My income goes up and my income goes down. So it's a valid question. And our friends at Xander, they deal with this stuff all the time, but you can change.
Yep.
The amount of term life you have.
Yep, you can buy some more. And that's the thing to do. Just buy what you need now, 15 to 20 year level, and then later on you can buy some more, 15 to 20 year level. And that's what I've ended up doing. And here's what's strange. It's not true at this moment in my life, but there was a period of time over 15 or 20 years that I was buying policies ever so often, new ones, to add to the coverage, and some of them were starting to drop off. During that time, life insurance became so competitive that the rates dropped, and I was buying life insurance 10 years later for the same price, although I'm 10 years older. And so it's still very, very competitive, and there's still a pressure in the marketplace in that direction, but it's not like that today. But the point is, it's not going to cost, if you're 20, early 20s, so let's call them 24, okay? And if you go back 10 years later at 34 and you add a policy, it's not going to be a bazillion dollars difference. It is different, but the difference in a 24-year-old and a 34-year-old is not, it's not 50% or something. It's not that kind of thing. So you're not going to see that much difference. So just add policies as you need. That'll lengthen the time you have coverage, by the way, if you do the 15 to 20 year every time, and 10 years later you do a 15 to 20 years. So you've got another 10 years on the plan now if you need it. And that's what I have done throughout my career. And then, at this point, I don't need life insurance. We have some, and the joke has always been because SWI, Sharon wants it. But those policies are dropping off. I dropped 2 of them 2 weeks ago. They hit the end, and I'm not renewing them. And so, you just change them out. And I'm 61. I obviously don't need life insurance. But that's what will happen is you just keep adding, and what you're doing is you're kind of parlaying this and layering it out.
Yeah. And it's important to remember what life insurance is for, to replace your income for people that depend on it. And we've gotten questions of, do I need life insurance on my baby? And, I keep life insurance until I die. And we always talk about, you don't need life insurance. If you follow our plan, once that 15 to 20 years up, you've got a paid-for house, you're on your way to becoming a millionaire, you're going to be self-insured to where no one's going to need to rely on your income. They can use, the money from the life insurance if something did happen within the policy and invest that and peel the money off to live off of. So it's a great plan, and it's worked for millions and millions of people.
Josh is with us. Josh is in Huntington, West Virginia. Hi, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mr. Ramsey. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Yes, sir. First of all, I want to thank you for your plan. Because of that, my wife and I, we are completely debt free with a paid-for house.
Wow!
And
look at you, man.
Yeah, we're 35, and we've had our house paid off for almost 6 years. So,
I love it, man.
Anyway, thank you, sir. Anyway, I don't want to take up much of your time, but when we're doing our budget, I know you do a zero-based budget. What comes into the paychecks, you put that down. But what happens like with your savings? If you've got savings, like if I'm making a new budget now for February, but we've got savings, and I want to make a purchase. So say we're going to purchase a flight for a trip. I don't want to how do I put that savings into that budget without? Because if I book the flight without putting the savings in, and it blows up my budget. How do I get that strategically to account for the savings, our extra cash, above and beyond our investments and everything else? How do I budget all that out to not blow up the budget?
Well, I guess there'd be two types of purchases you're doing there, a very large and then a small purchase. Booking a flight's a small purchase, and let's say you booked a $3,000 worth of airline tickets, and you had the money set aside for your trip, and it's in your trip savings, and so you just move the savings over into your checking, and it shows up, and you drop it into the budget as income for that month. And you you just integrate it in. A large purchase would be that you saved up $30,000 to buy a car. I'm probably not running that through the budget. I'm just going to write a check for that, and just because it comes out of the checking account doesn't mean it has to come out of the budget.
Okay. All right, that makes it easier. I was freaking out because it was blowing up my budget every time we did that, and it was kind of stressing me out a little bit.
I guess the difference is if you're using a debit card and it's showing up automatically in your every dollar, then you're going to move the money. That's a smaller purchase, and you're going to move that money out of savings over into your budget as income so that it doesn't blow your budget up. That's what's happening with an airline ticket purchase, right? But my point is you're buying a car, you're probably wiring the money into the dealership or
cashier's check or something
like that. And so you're not necessarily running it through every dollar. As long as you're not running it through your every dollar budget, then you're not going to run into this issue.
But yeah, the simplicity of just saying, all right, I've got $3,000 for this trip. I'm going to move it from savings to checkings. That now counts as income. That's then allocated to that trip in the budget.
Yep.
So
you got a vacation line item in your every dollar at that point. You fund it from the top as income, and then it's sitting there. Oh, and by the way, when you write the airline ticket, that's fine. Oh, when you go on the trip and you go to dinner, that's out of that same one, and you allocate it over there, and it's a little miniature budget inside the budget.
Yeah, for your trip.
Yeah, for the trip. It's your travel trip.
But that's great. They're doing this stuff. I mean, that's impressive,
fabulous.
man. 29 years old. They're in baby step 7.
Paid off the house. Very well done. That's beautiful. I mean, the guy's on his way to being serious wealth.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about all that. It's a great question. I'm glad he asked it because it's good to get these little nuanced things, these little issues where you
get stuck,
where the thing starts just running like a machine, where you just don't have to think about it. You get it on autopilot. The machine runs. You start the car, it runs, right? And same with your financial plan. You start it, it runs. And your systems, or you have systems and processes in place that run. And you do need to get those tuned in. But here's the thing. All that means is you're paying attention. And 98% of the people that don't win, it's not because of a nuance in the system. It's because they ain't even paying attention. This guy's beyond paying attention. He paid off his house at 29. He's beyond dialed in.
He's nerding out on the budget now.
Yeah,
it's a good problem to have.
Well, it's just we're dialing in processes here, and just take heart, those of you that are doing this, and if you're getting caught up on something small like that, just smile, enjoy the ride for figuring out how to make the machine run a little bit smoother, but you're fine because you're paying attention.
Broke people don't ask these questions.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to.
Exactly. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Paige is with us. Hey, Paige, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Welcome. Where do you live?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Well, it's a long way to Nashville.
Yeah, always an excuse to come to Nashville, right?
Hey, I hear you. Any excuse. We're glad you're here. Nice and cold for you. So how much debt have you paid off?
$25,137.
Good for you. And how long did that take?
6 months.
Wow, kicking it. And your range of income during that time?
58 to 70.
Okay. And what kind of debt was the 25?
All student loans.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. What's your degree in?
Experience design and management with emphasis in nonprofit management.
Okay. Wow. Good. So what do you do for a living?
I am an event marketing manager. Actually just got a new job, started a couple weeks ago.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
That's a good use of that knowledge then,
Yes.
huh? Yeah. Very good. All right. Fun. So how long you been out of school?
3 years in April.
Okay. What made you decide 6 months ago to turn this on and do this Ramsey stuff?
Well, it kind of started before that of like when I graduated, I would just lay awake at night thinking about these student loans because I just hated that they were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know how to tackle them, especially because when I got out of college, I was making 50 and it just felt like that's half of my income that I need to pay off. And the principals were so high that every time I paid the next month, it felt like it was the same exact balance.
It was.
So it was really disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID happened. There was no interest. And one of my friends randomly had mentioned that they listened to the Ramsey Show. And I was like, I've never actually listened to that. So I started listening to the podcast. And I was like, wait, I should budget. And so I started.
What a realization.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
I was working from home. And so I was listening to every single podcast every single day. It just really lit a fire underneath of me. And I just set a goal that I would be done by September of 2020. And on September 1st of 2020, I paid off the last of the balance.
She hit the goal.
Yep.
Just like that. Ding, ding.
Exactly.
That simple. Wow.
It was awesome.
Well, and so you used the fact that there was no interest during that time, and you budgeted, and you leaned in. And did your income go up early in the process or late in the process?
Kind of in the middle. So I started trying to look at different side hustle things of something I heard on the podcast a lot. And so I've always had an interest in interior design. So I actually started taking on a couple clients and redoing homes.
Good.
And so that helped bring in about $12K on top of my income.
Wow.
Very good.
Yeah, that was a huge piece of it.
I was going to ask.
One more use of your degree.
Yeah, I mean, all of your income looked like it was going towards debt. I was going to ask if there was some kind of side hustle involved here.
Yeah, definitely
it.
a side hustle.
Wow. Very impressive. Is it something you want to keep doing, or is it you're like, I'm done for now?
No, I love it. I'm continuing to take clients, and hopefully we'll transition that to a full-time career in the future.
Wow. Yeah, turn it into a business.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. Fun. How's it feel to be free?
It's the best thing. I can go to sleep at night without these fears of losing a job and having this debt to pay off. So it's been the best. I've just been so happy and trying to get everyone to understand the joy of not having any debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Who was your biggest cheerleader along the way?
I had a lot of them. I had some really great friends. Actually, one of my friends, when I told her, hey, I've started listening to the Dave Ramsey podcast, I got an Amazon box in the mail, and it was the Total Money Makeover book.
Oh, wow.
But the note said, love LeBron James, because I'm a huge LeBron James fan. And so it took months for me to figure out who it was. But
I thought LeBron James sent you books. Like, that's your friend?
I did too. I was going to say, yeah, LeBron James got me involved.
He got you a Total Money Makeover book.
Yeah.
This happened, not. Okay.
Yeah, and then my family has been super awesome and supportive, so just had a lot of people along the way.
All right, fun.
Awesome.
Fun. Okay, now, because you can't, it's hard to do this and not talk about it. So when somebody says, okay, shut up. How did you do it? You pay off $25,000 in 6 months, making $58,000. You didn't even make $25,000. Obviously, half of it was a side hustle you kicked in. That's the way the numbers work, right? Mm-hmm. And but what do you tell people? They say, okay, how'd you do it? What do you do to get out of debt? You tell them what?
The two things for me, one, the law of tithing. Being a religious person, I just know that like being committed to that Christ always assists us and helps make up the difference. And the second is budgeting. Obviously goes hand in hand with that, of just making sure that when you actually know where your money's going, you realize you have so much more money than you think you do, because I'm not just going to Target every weekend and dropping money on random stuff at Target.
Which is all Target has.
Yeah.
Random stuff.
The black hole.
With one item you need.
It's the black hole of random stuff. Yeah.
Wow, you're very impressive. So here's what I want to know. Paige, talk to the person who maybe is like you, but they're going, well, I mean, student loan forgiveness is going to happen, and I mean, there's no interest, there's no payments. Why would you even make a payment? And instead you went, no, I'm making extra payments. I want this out of my life. What do you say to that person?
I think that when we wait for other things to happen to make it so that our life is easier, we're end up going to be waiting a lot longer than we think we do. And I think that it's just so much more, instead of being told like, oh, actually you don't need to pay this, I feel so much more like I just feel a better human being, and I have more control over my money because I know that, like, no, I'm the master of my own finances, and I'm not going to wait for the government to tell me that, like, oh, you're forgiven, you don't need to worry about this anymore. It's just like, get it out of the way and move on with your life and take that next step to becoming a millionaire.
Mic drop. Wow.
She says it with such a sweet voice.
I know.
It's like, freedom! Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
I felt that.
It's like there's a take your destiny by the throat. But
yes, that's it.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, that's very good.
Most
Very
people
cool.
don't even think it's possible. They don't think they can get control, and you just decided one day that, no, I'm going to be in control. I'm going to be the master of my money.
Yeah.
That's incredible. We're so proud of you.
How many debt-free screams do you think you've watched?
Probably like at least 300.
Whoa.
I watched a lot. I listened to a lot of Dave Ramsey.
And now you're inside of one. It's so
Yes.
meta.
Well, now I was just thinking, because now you are that for someone. Because you were laying awake and somebody said, check this out. You tile in the podcast, and it's like, this is a strange podcast, strange radio show. And then I'm actually going to pull up YouTube and watch some of these people do their debt-free screams, and then now that's you.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool process there that you've gone through. Very neat. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
Well done. Very well done. How's it feel to be free again?
Amazing. The best.
All right. We got a copy of the brand new #1 bestseller, Baby Steps Millionaires for You, How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth and How You Can Too. And I'll also give you a copy of the Total Money Makeover, and you can ship it to LeBron James.
Perfect. You might need it.
Because he might need it. You never know. Probably not. But okay. Paige from Salt Lake City, Utah, $25,000 paid off in 6 months, making $58,000 to $70,000. Plus the old home interior side hustle. Very well done. All right, Paige, count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
1, 2, 3. I'm debt free.
Yeah! And a trip to Nashville. Boom. There you go. Just like that. Why not? This is the time to do it. It works, man. It works. What an impressive young woman.
Yeah, inspiring. She's going to inspire a lot of people that were like her.
So, you know, it's... She just said, I don't want to lay awake at night. This is, you know, it's amazing how much real estate in our brain, how much free rent in our brain that we give these negative things. And the Bible talks about taking every thought captive. And really, in a sense, that's what she did. She went, I'm not living like this. And underneath that sweet voice and demeanor, there's a warrior in there.
There's a lot of grit.
A lot of grit. That's a good word. A lot of warrior. And she moved, you know, looked in the mirror and said, I can do this.
Yeah. And my generation is just plagued with anxiety and fears and cynicism. And it's just amazing.
Just your generation. It was only yours.
And
Yeah.
Gen Z, but especially ours. Dave, we love to complain. Everything's everyone else's problem, and we can't do anything to it. It just happens to us.
It's every
Woe
generation.
is us,
It's
right?
Every generation.
We just have social media now, so we can just blast it a lot more than you guys could.
You get to have an opinion. But other than that, I mean, every generation's had this.
Yeah.
I mean, in recent memory, in the last 50 years, boomers too.
Yeah.
Even those horrible boomers.
That's right.
Yeah, they
Thank
did
you
too.
for saying it out loud.
Yeah.
We're all thinking it. But it's amazing what happens when you get control of your money, how much of that can go away. And you're not cynical anymore. The anxiety goes away. You can sleep at night. Even the boomers.
Even though they don't deserve to. This is The Ramsey Show. Scripture of the day, Psalm 34:19. The righteous person may have troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. Thomas Paine said, the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we talk about your life and your money. It's a free call, 888-825-5225. You jump in and we will talk. Karen is in Washington, D.C. Hi, Karen. How are you?
Great. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Well, I am on baby step 2, paying off debt. I have credit card debt of about $25,000 left, and then I have 3 mortgages. One mortgage is a rental property that I've had since 1998, and the other is my primary care, and then my mother passed and left me one that we have a mortgage on.
Mm-hmm.
My dilemma is I recently lost my job, and I'm 64, and I was wondering, sell out and retire rather than try to continue with another job.
Mm-hmm. You have no money saved, though.
Well, I have a 401k of about $310,000.
Oh, that's helpful. Okay, good. I feel a whole lot better now. All right.
Yes.
And okay.
What's the house worth that your mom left you?
It's probably worth about $150.
What do you owe on it?
And I owe on that $29,000.
Okay. All right. And what about the other rental? What do you owe on it?
The rental I owe $145,000 on.
What's it worth?
It's probably worth at least $200,000, or maybe $225,000. It's not in the best condition. I've rented out the HUD since 1998.
Mm-hmm. You said we earlier. Are you married?
No, I'm single.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And your personal residence, what do you owe on it?
I owe $214 on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what is it worth?
It's probably worth about $300, maybe $325.
Okay.
$340 is assessed for last year.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, okay? I think if I were in your shoes, I would want a real clean and simple life, which would lead me to selling your mom's house and the rental and paying your house off with the proceeds. You can get enough out of those two to pay your house off. Then you got you have a paid-for house, no bills. You got those $25,000 in credit cards. You need to chop those things up, and you're going to have to get some money together and get rid of those, whether you take it out of your nest egg or whether you just scrape it together and get them knocked out. But that's not keeping you from retiring. You get it. I want those two things. I want the credit cards paid off, and I would take the money from the sale of the other 2 houses and pay your house off. And just breathe this in for a second, because I know I just sold your mama's house, and I know you got a tear in your eye when I did that, okay? But breathe this in for a second. You're sitting there in your house. It's the only thing you have to repair. You don't have to deal with repairs. You don't have to deal with tenants. You don't have to deal with insurance and taxes. You got your house, and it's paid for, and you've got $300,000 in your nest egg, and you've got your Social Security coming in. I think you're going to be okay if you do that.
Okay.
How's that feel? How's that feel?
It feels really big relief off of me, building. Mm-hmm.
I think if you go back to work, you're going back to work to keep those other 2 houses that you probably shouldn't keep.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, so get in touch with one of our endorsed local providers on the real estate and have them help you get those things listed, and let's get them sold. And there's something to be said for simplicity in our lives, for just cleanliness.
Yeah, it's definitely underrated. And a lot of people, especially when you're 64 and you've got all these mortgages and you lost the job, it just adds all of the stress into your life. And when I'm 64, I want to be relaxed, more relaxed than I've ever been. And that's what I want for our friend Karen here.
Yeah, I could see you draining down that 310 trying to keep those other properties propped up.
Yeah, it just sounds like a mess to deal with.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sound like she loves any of them.
I think I talked her into it.
That was pretty easy. That might have been your best sales pitch.
I mean, I'm shocked because I sold her mom's house. That's a hard one.
Well, you are a good salesman, and you've been in real estate a long time. You've got a future in this.
Yeah, you think it'll work out for me? All right. Nathan's in Salt Lake City. Hey, Nathan, what's up?
Hi, Dave. Hi, George. How are you guys doing?
Good. How can we help?
So I just had a question about what we should be doing next with our money. So me and my wife, we just had a new baby in November.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we have just finished our baby step 3 with our fully funded emergency fund.
Yay!
But I'm still in university. Thanks. But I'm still in university. I have 2 years left. So I wasn't sure if we should continue on to 4, 5, and 6 and start investing in retirement and doing the 529 for the baby, or if we should just be like what we should be doing at this point.
Are you able to cash flow the rest of your school?
We should be able to. I haven't had to spend any money on school so far. I have a full academic scholarship, and then we get the Pell Grant in as well.
Okay.
What is your household income?
I make about $44,000 a year before tax. So.
Okay, and what's your degree going to be in?
It's biochemistry, but I'm planning on going to medical school after, so it'll be more school.
Okay. All right. I think we invest in you right now. I think you got your emergency fund, you got clear of debt, and I think you just keep piling up as much money as you can pile up for school, because your best rate of return is going to be on Nathan.
Yeah. So would you recommend putting that in an index fund, or should we just have it in the bank, or what would you suggest?
Some mix of that probably, but the money you're going to be leaving alone for a long time, you can drop it into an index fund. But how old are you guys?
We're both 22, me and my wife.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you drop it into an index fund, you're going to be fine, and just load it up, and just we'll see how big a pile of money you can get, man. I mean, you're not. It's not going to be a huge pile because you're making $44,000, but anything we can do to make a dent in this medical school is going to be the way to go.
Yeah, I'd want to avoid any kind of student loans, and the house and all that stuff. That's great, and the college that can come later.
That's all. The college for the kid, you get that, no trouble. You go be an MD, and. Buying a house, I wouldn't worry about buying a house right now. Right now, this is game on for Nathan. You're 22. You're still super young. You got all kinds of time here to do all this stuff and the other things, the other acquisitions and the other processes. So,
if you're a debt-free doctor, you're going to be able to do all of that easily and not be stressed because you're not going to have $300,000 in student loans, then trying to go, I got to buy a house, I got to do all these things.
Yeah, good question, man. Thank you for joining us. I think it's a good idea to remember we are huge believers in buying and owning a house, but we do not agree with what most people will tell you in the culture, which is buy one right this second. Everybody ought to buy a house, buy house, buy house, buy house, buy house, buy house. You ought to be out of debt. You ought to have the emergency fund in place, and you ought to be stabilized, meaning that you're not, finishing up something where you're going to be jumping cities. And because jumping in and out of houses is super expensive. And so buying a house is a good idea when you've done those things. But everybody should not buy a house.
Yeah.
No matter, broke people buying a house, it makes you broker. It does not make you anything else. That's why they call them brokers. But it's just...
I see it all the time. People in their 20s and their 30s, and they go, well, there's two things. Either outside pressure that's going, hey, you should buy a house. What are you doing? You're an idiot. Or it's pride, where you go, I deserve a house.
Yeah.
And both of those things
or it's FOMO.
Yeah.
Houses are going up. I gotta get in. I gotta get in.
I'll never be able to afford it.
I gotta get in for the. I'm gonna get priced out of the market. I gotta get in. And none of those things are true.
Yeah.
None of those things are true. You'll get there. You'll get there.
Patience, grasshopper.
I wonder who knows what that means.
No one knows. I barely know.
I do. Oh my goodness. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.